Hello everyone, welcome back to Georgia Paper Crafts. Today I'm going to be working with the Simon Says Stamp January 2020, my goodness, card kit Snowflake Builder. This card kit actually came early this month, which I'm thrilled about. I finally get it in a decent time, so I'm going to do a quick run through of what comes in the kit, and then I'll get to making some cards. Of course, I get my usual lollipop that comes in every kit. I even have the other one from last month. All right, there. I also have these Tim Holtz Ideology snow globes. So this is obviously not something I would use for card making, but I guess if you did mixed media or made something else, you could use it. Chances of me using this is probably slim, but okay. Then I have, let's see, it's Simon Says Stamp Snowflake Builder 6x8 stamp set. And in here it has multiple snowflakes that you can build, and they have the little dotted outline around so to show you which one goes with which is great. So I can anticipate that I'll be making lots of cards using this Snowflake Builder. However, I don't know how many I need. I mean, I can only have so many, but anyway, this one, the sentiments say, thank you so much, you're amazing, so much to be thankful for, warm wishes, thank you, one of a kind, love at frost sight. And actually these kind of bended sayings would fit in this banner right here. And this one also, snow one like you and winter greetings. This one says hello friend. So all right, and then we get one Simon Says Stamp Mini Snowflake Mandala wafer thin die. There are 5 double-sided sheets of Kaisercraft 6x6 paper. The color of this paper is very pretty. It's a pretty mint green and silver. I can see that it might be hard to choose sides of what to use. That one actually is not part of it. And then there's one 6x6 sheet of Simon Says Stamp silver glitter paper. That's what that is. Then we have Tim Holtz Distress Alcohol ink. This is in the color of denim. I don't think I have this color, so I'm looking forward to using that. Have some a bottle of the Distress Tim Holtz Distress Collage Medium in matte, and then a jar of the Tim Holtz Distress Mica Flakes. And then we have, let's see, four envelopes this time. It looks like one in metallic silver, one in metallic sea glass, a slate, and a white. These all have the peel and stick sealing. And then we get our cardstock, and this month we have same colors that match the envelopes, which is white, sea glass, smoke, and slate. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get to making some cards, and we'll see what I come up with.
All right, for card number 1, I wanted to start out by using the large Snowflake Builder stamp. So I cut down a piece of the gray cardstock and I treated it with my anti-static powder tool because I am going to be heat embossing. I took the largest stamp there, snowflake stamp, and used some Versamark ink. I didn't feel like, not Versamark, it's really Simon Says Stamp Clear ink. Didn't think I got a good impression just using my acrylic block, so I switched to using my Misty so that I could stamp it multiple times if I needed to, and obviously you see I am, so I can get a good impression. I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss that with Ranger's Platinum Ultrafine Embossing Powder. Then I'm going to take this second stamp, builder stamp, put it on there, and go ahead and use my embossing ink. And this time I wanted to use a blue glittery embossing powder. Now I have multiple embossing powders. I thought this was the Ranger one that I had, but I think this was maybe just an old Zip brand, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if they even sell them anymore, but when I embossed it, it just did not emboss real well. When I say that, the glitter didn't stick real well, and so I'm not real happy with that. You'll see that. I'm kind of pointing at it there. I went ahead and trimmed it down, and now I kind of want to bring in some Simon Says Stamp inks to help shade around the area of the cardstock. And I am using Simon Says Stamp Smoke ink and slate ink, and just kind of darkening up the edges, leaving the center pretty light, pretty much not much on there at all. I'm going to bring in my Swiffer cloth and buff off the edges. What you can see is once I start doing that, you really can't see that blue embossed snowflake. So instead I decided I'd go ahead and cut out the mandala snowflake that die that came in the kit, and I used some blue glitter cardstock to do this. There's a ton of things to poke out. It's pretty intricate. Just using my tool-in-one here, trying to get it out. I believe I had trouble with this and actually had to cut it again, which I did do off camera. Got rid of all the extra pieces. Now I'm running it through my Xyron sticker maker. Just trying to get all the extra stickiness off from the areas that you can see. And I'm going to put that right on top, just to try to cover up that area that I didn't really like how it embossed, but still be able to use it. I almost chucked this card. I had to walk away from it for a little bit and then come back and decide to keep going with it. So here I'm using some double-sided adhesive. I'm going to go ahead and get that adhered to a white card base. As I've said in many videos, I go ahead and pre-score and make my card bases out of just some heavyweight cardstock. Now I'm going to come in and stamp the banner. Heat emboss that with some of the platinum ink, platinum embossing powder. This is, again, Ranger Platinum Embossing Powder. I have trouble here, and I believe the reason is I did not give my panel long enough to dry, and I didn't test it before I started heat embossing it. So obviously I'm having a lot of embossing powder stick to a lot of areas I don't want them at. Finally, I got to the point where I was okay with how it looked, but it still looked, you know, a little messy. But that's okay. I went with it. I'm going to go ahead and pull in the sentiment here. And that says thank you. And I'm using the slate ink for that. Now I'm going to bring in some jewels. These are the Pretty Pink Posh jewels. They are the Starry Night mix. It has a bunch of different sizes and colors of blues and silvers. I'm going to add that around the snowflake just for added embellishment. Sticking it down using my glue, my put in just a dab of glue down, and then I put the gem on top. And then I'm going to put some around the sides just for added embellishment. I like a little bling. And that's it for this card. I'm okay with how it turned out. Again, you can see down there on the banner side that it didn't look great, but I'll I still take it. So moving on to card number 2 and 3. Here again, I really wanted to use the Snow Builder, layering dies, and I kept wanting to emboss them. So I took a piece of the slate cardstock. I have treated that already with some anti-static powder tool. Here you see I'm putting some of the sticky ink on. This is a Simon Says Stamp clear embossing ink. And this time I'm going to use a different silver. This is a silver that I got in one of the card kits one time. I don't even know how long ago. I don't have a label on this, but I believe it's a Simon Says Stamp silver. I don't know, whatever it is, it's very pretty, and it embossed really well. Here I'm doing a second panel, same thing, same ones. I'm going to use a silver. Get that all embossed or heated up and fixed. Now I've got 2 panels. And what I want to do now is I want to bring in the coordinating stamp that goes on top of this to help build it. Already placed it in there. You can see me stamping here. And I want to heat emboss it. I'm stamping it again with a clear ink, and I'm going to heat emboss it with 2 different colors. This is Red Geranium by Ranger. And the other one I'm going to do is going to be the blue tinsel that I had thought I used initially. And that again is from Ranger. So here I'm heating it up. Doesn't look too bad. The coordinated, the builder dies are a little bit off, so I'm rearranging them here. For some reason, I had the hardest time getting these aligned. And here is that blue tinsel. And this is from Ranger. And this time I felt like it got aligned a little bit better, but there were still some that were a little off. And here I decided I wanted to fill in a little bit more, so I just took some of the single stamps here, and I'm just kind of placing them around and stamping them with the clear embossing ink. I'm going to bring that silver powder again. ahead and get that melted. Then I'm going to come back in and do some more stamping, just around, trying to fill things in. And I'm going to come back with some of the red. And do the same with the blue here. Just try to fill in some of the open spaces, just using some of the single stamps. This time I wanted to use some of this. This is the Ranger Snowflake Glitter. Snowflake Glitter? Yeah, Snowflake Glitter embossing powder. I've used this before, and I wasn't that fond of it then because I didn't think it gave a real good impression. And this is the second time I didn't feel like it gave a good impression. Not sure if I'll be using it again, but some of the areas took the embossing powder real well, some did not. You can kind of see that on here. But I'm going to keep coming around. I tried to re-stamp some of them because I didn't like how it looked again. And come back with some of the blue. Try to go over it. Kind of offsetting it a little bit. At this point I knew it was offset and I was okay with that. So I'm bringing it in just to kind of give it a little almost like blue outline. Doing that for the other ones. All the ones that I had stamped previously with the stamped and embossed with the Snowflake glitter. I'm just kind of going over them again, offset a little bit and using the blue tinsel. I'm going to go ahead and heat set that. Both of these panels did not really turn out the way I envisioned them in my head. I mean, again, I think they turned out okay. I had trouble, again, getting everything centered, but I decided I wanted to keep going with what I had. So here I stamped out 2 of the banners, and then I used 2 sentiments. One is the warm wishes, and the other one says thank you. I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut both of these out. Once I'm finished with that, I'll just go around the edges with my black Memento marker just to help darken it up and get rid of any of the imperfections of my cutting. Bring in the panels. So what I did was I cut them down. I cut these panels down. I think they're about 3 inches, 3 by probably 5 1/4. I'm going to put a piece of metallic red cardstock on the red one and a piece of mirrored blue cardstock from Tonic on the other one. Just attaching both of those. I'm going to go ahead and attach both of these to the card bases. I went ahead and cut out some of the the mandala snowflake die. I cut it out of some silver cardstock and some red cardstock here, and then I'll also have silver and blue for the other one. And I'm just kind of stacking them on top of each other. So this red metallic cardstock, I believe, is the Holtz red metallic cardstock that comes in a pack. And this is a red one. So here I've got the silver. For this one, just putting some glue on there. This is the blue mirror cardstock from Tonic. I'm going to put an acrylic block on both of those just to help get them to dry. Keep them down while they dry. I'm going to put some foam tape on these banners. So I'm going to go ahead and pop them up. For the red one, I put thank you. For the blue, I put warm wishes. Then I decided I didn't like how light is stamped. So I went ahead and brought in a silver glitter pen from my stash. This is actually a pen from Kaiser Craft. And I just went over the sentiments with that. I'm going to bring in some more jewels. Again, this is that same pack from Pretty Pink Posh, the Starry Night pack with the different blue colors. I'm going to go ahead and put some around all over. Adding a bunch to the centers of the snowflakes and then just some around. And if I ever have any glue that kind of oozes out, that'll just dry clearly. And moving on to the red one, I'm bringing in some, these are, oh, I forgot what, these are, all of these are from Pretty Pink Posh. Can't remember the name of this one, but I will make sure I link it down below along with the white, these are actually clear. I'll link both of them, both packs of gems are from Pretty Pink Posh. Again, just kind of putting some around. I had to change out my jewel picker there because my crystal katana was losing a little bit of stickiness. So moved on to this rubber one I got. And that's it for these cards. Here's a quick look at these two cards. Now moving on, I wanted to use some of the pattern paper. I think this paper is very pretty. I love the teal color and the silver in it. So I'm cutting down 2 pieces of the pattern paper along with a strip of the metallic gold cardstock that came in a kit. I'm just putting them on the front in a pattern. I'm going to cut off the excess here. once I've done that, I'm going to bring in, well, actually I decided I wanted to go ahead and stamp the sentiment here. And I am stamping the sentiment, "Thank you so much." I decided I would use some Versafine Onyx Black ink. The second time that I stamped it, it was off a little bit, so it got a little bit blurry there. So I decided I would restamp it, heat emboss it with some clear embossing ink. And this is just on one of the pieces of pattern paper. I'm going to cut that out with a die. And then I'm going to go glue that over that just to cover that up right there. There we go. All right, now I am bringing in an additional die. This is a snowflake die from my set. This is a snowflake from the Simon Says, one of the Simon Says stamp snowflakes. I'm not sure exactly which one. Again, I'll look to see if I could find out, and I will link it down below. Then I went ahead and cut out 2 more of the mandala snowflakes in that same silver cardstock. Not the glitter cardstock, but just some different glitter mirror cardstock. I'm going to adhere both of those. Now the larger snowflake in the middle is cut out using some Holtz green metallic cardstock. I'm just laying those around. I'm going to bring in some jewels here. These are some pearls. I believe they're from Pretty Pink Posh, but again, I don't have the label for this one, unfortunately, so I'm not sure exactly. But I do believe they are. I'm going to put them on the centers of the snowflakes and then just kind of put a couple around. And that's going to be it for this card. The second card I use using the pattern paper, I cut down some of the pattern paper with a snowflake and backed it with some of the sea glass cardstock. I'm going to layer that in the center of the pre-made card base that I made. Cut off the excess. I'm going to bring in some of these Love from Lizzie peel-off stickers. This is a gray peel-off sticker, and I'm not sure, it's got like a zigzag pattern almost. So I'm just putting those on the edges of each side, cutting off the excess and putting the remains back on the sticky sheet. Just helps to frame it up. Now I'm going to bring in the sentiment that says, actually I'm not sure what it says, let's see. Snow much to be thankful for. So I used my anti-static powder tool, prepped the area. I stamped it using Versafine Onyx Black ink, and then I heat embossed that using some clear embossing ink, or clear embossing powder. Now I'm going to use those same mandala snowflake dies. Go ahead and attach them on the upper right and the lower left. When I'm finished with this, I'll go ahead and attach some of those pearls like I did in the other card, and that will be it for this card. So here's a final look of those 2 cards. Thought they turned out fairly well. Now I'm going to move on to making a card using the alcohol ink that came in the kit. I got the color denim. I think some other people got the other colors. I saw another crafter on YouTube who had patina. I'm not sure which one was supposed to come in the kit, but it was fine. I was fine with the denim. I brought in some other ones that I had. This is the silver mixative along with a lighter blue. I'm not sure exactly what. I'll have to look, and I'll put it down below which one I use. But what I like to do is put down a lot of the color along with some of the alcohol mixing solution, and I just use my, I don't know, this is a spritzer, I guess, and it just blows air and pretty much moves the ink around. So I did that, and then I let it dry. I pretty much let this dry for 24 hours. And now I'm going to put in some of the snowflakes. I'm going to bring in my alcohol lift ink. I'm going to stamp it on there. And go ahead and wipe off some of it. I didn't think it came through very well, so I'm going to repeat it. This time I got a little bit better image, but still not great. Now, I didn't want to waste this ink that I lifted off, so I went ahead and put down a piece of white cardstock and put that on there. Now I'm going to cut this down along with the inside piece. And inside that comes a little bitty frame. This is the Simon Says Stamp thin frame die. I also cut that from some silver cardstock. So what I'm going to do is get my card base, go ahead and put some adhesive on it, go ahead and add the frame. As you can see, this is a little bit smaller than my card base, so I was trying to decide what to do here, but I'm going to go ahead and go with it for now, and then I'll cut it down. I'm inlaying the silver thin frame, and then I'm going to put back in the piece, almost like making a puzzle. So it has a little skinny, thin silver cardstock frame over it. Here I'm bringing in a blue card base. This is just one from my stash. And I'm going to back this centerpiece with some fun foam so that it'll be popped up. And then I decided this is the extra inside thin frame that I cut out from the piece of alcohol inked background. And I decided I'd try to use it and put it around and see if it just gives it a little extra frame. And I really liked how it turned out. I thought it looked pretty good. It's just like a secondary frame, and I thought it looked good. So I'm liking how that's turning out. Now, you can't see the snowflakes real well on the alcohol ink part, and that was kind of bothering me. But again, I was just thinking, well, this could just look like an abstract piece or something. I'm going to go ahead and stamp a sentiment, thank you so much. I use Versafine Onyx black ink. Heat emboss that with some clear embossing powder, and then cut that out. On this other piece, I'm going to use the same sentiment. I'm going to stamp it onto the piece itself with some Versafine Onyx black ink, heat emboss it with some clear embossing powder, and melt it. So once I'm finished with all that, I'm going to bring in some of those Starry Night gems from Pretty Pink Posh, and I'm just going to put them all around. I really like the colors of the ink background. Later on, I'm going to be having a video with a lot more ink backgrounds. I've done quite a few in the past, and I'm just working on editing that video, but it'll show a bunch looking very similar to that. Put more of these gems around. And that's it for both of these cards. Here's a quick look. is a quick look at the 7 cards I made using the Simon Says stamp January 2020 card kit. Hard to believe I'm saying that. Anyway, I enjoyed working with it, but I didn't feel like I had 10 cards in me to make with this Snowflake Builder um, card kit. So this is what I got. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I appreciate you sticking with me. Let me know which cards you liked the most down below, or if you have any other comments or questions. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button to see more videos from Georgia Paper Crafts. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.